crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern, we are here live. By the way, I talked to Joe Rogan 2 days ago and again yesterday. He's super busy. He's coming to town. I'm going to go see him Saturday night. And he thought yesterday he could come on today, but he may come on tomorrow or he may come on next week, just for Joe Rogan fans out there when I said he'd be on today. Or I may just interview him with a camera when I go out to dinner with him Saturday night after his show or before it. We'll see what happens with that. So that's just a program note that I just remembered because I was saying he'd probably be on Thursday. That is a busy guy with all the UFC TV shows, now doing a daily radio show a lot of the time, and the movies he's filming and everything else. I've known Joe for 13 years and seen him change quite a bit. Interesting fellow, so we'll work on getting that done. It's not hard to go out to dinner with Joe, but it's getting hard to get him on the radio. But I know how that is because I do so many radio interviews that I say no to most of them now because it just becomes a point where you just can't do them all. But we're going to work on that. Now, folks, the Weekly Standard is asking the question. We can punch this up on screen for TV viewers. Radio listeners can just go to drudgereport.com and see it. We also have it up at prisonplanet.com. Senator blast secret fiscal cliff negotiations. And Jeff Sessions, Senator Sessions is the one that exposed the total amnesty plan with Bush. That got shot down, and now he's saying it's secret again with the congressional leadership. And that's why Romney's there today, right now, having lunch, is to get the Republicans to go along with tax increases because the foreign banks, just like in Europe, they want that tax money. And so they'll say, oh, we're going to have to cut the essential services and welfare off and federal money for police. They always do this. If you don't give us, the new tax increase on the rich, and meanwhile, Google, all these big companies are offshore and basically pay almost no tax. That's in the news. The ultra-rich are the ones lobbying for higher taxes. And the day the left figures this out is the day we save this country. But the right wing's the same. They love all their corporate welfare. They'll never recognize that. They're always saying low-level socialists want higher taxes. Well, yeah, because they're ignorant. So this is a big deal. And they want a VAT and a carbon, which goes directly into the big multinationals as a derivative. And now the UN saying they're going to have diplomatic immunity for people trading carbon taxes because a third of it's going to be given to the UN. Now they're going to give the banks diplomatic immunity. I mean, these banks are the world government. Remember our article we wrote a few months ago? Banks brag they've conquered the U.S. and Europe. It's dozens of links to video of them saying it. Federal Reserve Chairman, you name it. Go watch it. Go look at it. This is the key to understanding what we're facing. And here's my problem. They say we want a global government because there's global problems and, all this environmental stuff. Well, all they care about is the carbon dioxide that plants respirate from, the life cycle. They don't care about genetic engineering. They don't care about toxic waste dumping or overfishing or cutting down old growth forest or cross species, all these things that we know are dangerous. And they don't care about the 400 plus nuclear reactors. Our own energy department estimates 92% are leaking. You can pull those numbers up. Just type in 90+% of reactors leaking. Now when the alarms go off, they just decommission the alarms. Last year with Fukushima, the FDA, the EPA first, and then FDA agreed. The EPA said, we're going to raise the level of different isotopes hundreds of times, thousands of times for some isotopes as it came over. Okay, so things have really changed. They have the troops using DU. And you've got reactors leaking all over, 30, 40 years old, rotting. They're not going to the newer, cleaner systems. Now I see all these leading environmentalists like George Monbiot endorsing nuclear power. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm what you call a libertarian constitutionalist. Back when I was more ignorant, 15 years ago, I was all about nuclear power. But now they're rotting, falling apart, and the corporations don't care. They're crazy. And within a few weeks of power going out around the country, the diesel will run out. We've got an experimental reactor right here in Austin. Shot to me a big power reactor. So I live in the fallout zone of 2 of these. And I don't like it. And now they want to build more of them and run them shoddily. And so joining us as a leading expert on this, Nuclear Roulette. We sell the book at InfowarsStore.com. Forward by Jerry Mander and Ernst Kallenbach. And I have finally read the book. I wanted to get this guy on months ago. It came highly recommended by some of the physicists and people we've had on, Dr. Busby and others. Nuclear Roulette, The Truth About the Most Dangerous Energy Source on Earth. Gar Smith is editor emeritus of Earth Island Journal, a Project Censored Award winner. I'm a winner of that as well. Investigative journalist and co-founder of the Environmentalist Against War. He has covered revolutions in Central America and has engaged in environmental campaigns on 3 continents. He lives a low-impact, solar-assisted lifestyle in Berkeley, California. People say, well, why do you have a guy on, an environmentalist, when you're talking about the green movement and behind the green mask being the takeover? Because they attach all this real, reasonable stuff to something run by Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan that is a tax-based system. And so if we just fight the environmental movement, number one, it makes us look stupid, and it's not sophisticated. There's a real environmental movement, and there's a clone of it, but a counterfeit. But we're not going to get into that so much. I just wanted to throw that out. That I don't even have to agree with everything somebody stands for, because I don't even know what the guy stands for in total, to understand that nuclear power is a ticking time bomb that just keeps going off. And now when they have leaks all the time in Nebraska or up in Canada, it's a footnote now. And radiation levels are more than double what they were 60 years ago in the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, there it is. AP, radioactive leaks found at 75% of U.S. nuclear power sites. And the Department of Energy estimates 92% worldwide. But again, then that's a whitewash as well. That's Associated Press. Okay, enough of me. Gar, good to get you on. Tell us about your environmental philosophy, because we all live on this island Earth. I agree with you, spaceship Earth. And where you see this going with the reactors that are just falling apart.
Well, thank you for the invite, Alex. It's not a good future that we're facing. There's a lot of talk about the fiscal cliff, but anybody who's been living on planet Earth recently realizes that there's something else going on. We're facing a geophysical cliff. The weather is changing, and we've got reactors that were built for a different planet. The reactors that are operating today in their old age and their senescence, they should have been retired at the end of their lifestyles, their life design times. But out of a convenience to the industry, which has received convenience after convenience, gift after gift, bailout after bailout, these things are being relicensed and allowed to be uprated, which means that they can operate hotter and harder to generate more power for an industry that's not as efficient or as profitable as it used to be. And these reactors, even the NRC now admits, are more susceptible to earthquake risks than was realized. The medium risk is triple the design.
Or flood risk. I mean, they're having to off-gas all the time when there's a moderate flood.
That's right. These things are not, they are not leak-proof. They are admittedly designed to leak tritium, xenon. There are permissible amounts of radiation that can flow into our waterways, and it's permissible because it can't be controlled. So why not make it permissible? It's the same thing the Japanese and the American governments did after Fukushima, when the radiation went up in the Tokyo schoolyards. The response from the government was, well, we'll raise the level for exposure for children 20-fold. Same thing happened in the United States.
Wave a magic wand. What is generating at its heart? Then I want to get into the technicals because you're the expert on this. Why are they so reckless? Where do these nuclear energy CEOs think their kids are going to live and their grandkids if this continues?
Well, you know, I had a grim insight into the mindset of some of the officials that have run this program. I had a friend whose father worked for the Atomic Energy Commission. This is some time ago. This is one of the early guys. And I actually had a chance to ask him this question when I was a student at UC Berkeley. I asked about the danger of nuclear power and the problem of disposing of the nuclear wastes. And what he told me was, and he introduced his comment with kind of a laugh and a smirk, he said, what makes you think human beings are going to be here on this planet in 200 years?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know, that's the response I've gotten. That's the response so many other scientists I've interviewed, whether it's GMO, you name it. They just say there's too many people. But it's not even saying too many people from their research to try to make the Earth, more sustainable, even if you believe that argument. It's just a nihilistic, let the devil have it attitude.
Yeah, something I concluded after looking at the response to Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island and Fukushima and more than 50 other significant reactor accidents we've had around the world in the last 50 years is that there is a common thread. And I've described it as hubris, denial, and deception. This is the response to nuclear risk. You begin with denial. Our technology will never fail, even though you know it leaks. Well, there's a saying within the nuclear engineering community, and it's very brief but very telling. Among themselves, they agree. They have this statement: nuclear energy can be safe. Nuclear energy can be clean, just not at the same time. That's the hubris. Yeah. Now, when the hubris fails and there's an accident, you get into denial. And you saw this at Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and Fukushima. Initially, the government says, no problem. It took almost 9 years before the TMI owners admitted that there'd been a partial meltdown in the plant. The third phase is deception, when it becomes obvious that there is a problem, when people downwind start picking up radiation traces and say, where is this coming from? Then you get into deception. Okay, we have it under control. In Japan, it's look at the radiation monitors, which they took forever to install, shows there's no problem.
Let's stop right there at the third point and do the rest of the interview on the deception. It's all covered in Nuclear Roulette. I believe this is one of the greatest threats facing humanity, is the fact that the nuclear industry is becoming collectively insane and self-destructive, and if they want to kill themselves, that's their business. They're not going to kill me and my family. We'll be right back with our guest, Gar Smith. Stay with us. We have witnessed 2 terrible storms in the east, but we are still in the eye of the perfect storm. The most devastating economic conditions since the Great Depression, America's worst drought in agricultural history, and now the economic results of the presidential election. This perfect storm is a huge threat to everyone's food supply. I just doubled down and got even more supplies from eFoods Direct, and I recommend you do the same. It's time to get your own supply from eFoods Direct. I know I won't be standing in a bread line trading my freedom for food. I'm taking control of my future, and you're nuts if you don't do the same. Go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find the specials. And you can start with a holiday gift pack that's normally $80, now under $50. Remember, I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Would you rather prepare 6 months too early or 1 day too late? 409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
That's the sound of your door being kicked in by an intruder with a single kick. That's the sound of the same door now protected by the Door Sentinel at mysafedoor.com. Go to mysafedoor.com right now and watch the amazing video. At mysafedoor.com, you'll learn how to turn your home into a fortress with the Door